Okay. I'm hoping it's recording. It was kind of sticking for a moment there. Like there was a delay. Anyway, thanks for coming to another episode of Psoto Desperado Plays Ark Survival Ascended. I had to do some eggs. I'm behind on my egg hatching. So that's what I'll be doing today. And get another... I don't know if I can get another... on a couple of these. All right. Let's see. All right. So anyway, I'm going to play some stuff in the background. Since I can't really switch between screens and I can just record the game, hopefully it won't glitch on me. Basically, I'll put the links in the description in the order in which I played it. And that way you can review the videos yourself later. So let me go ahead and get the first one started. Let's see. First video is Scotty Kilmer. Donald Trump just said no more cars from Europe or China. It's a short 10-minute video.
Rev up your engines! Well, just the other day, European auto stock started tumbling. It was an average of 3% since Trump says he's going to put a tariff on the European cars. There's a 2.6% decline in people buying passenger cars in Europe at the same time. Hilariously, who's the biggest drop? The biggest drop was Ferrari, which lost 7% in value. Because if they start putting tariffs on Ferraris, guess what? Americans have a lot of money, and they're one of the big segments of Ferrari, so the Ferrari stock's going down. Most people that drive Ferraris are swines. They're road hogs. Jay Leno doesn't have a Ferrari in his collection because he was disgusted with the idea of all these rules that you got to do if you buy one. That's all I got to say. Now, you can't disagree with Trump and these tariffs. To quote Trump, they've really taken advantage of us. They don't accept our cars. They don't accept essentially our farm products. And we accept everything of them. So, put a tariff on them, he's saying. Well, you kind of agree. They got tariffs on our stuff. It's not like it doesn't exist. You know? They're trying to say, like they're the good guys. Hey, when it comes to business and most of society, things are never just black and white. There's gray all over the place, right? So anybody who thinks, oh, this tariff's a bad thing, they've been putting tariffs on them for ages. Take the Italians. They limit Japanese cars sold in Italy to something like 3% of the cars. That's all they're allowed to sell. So they're putting gigantic tariffs on. So too bad. Slap them back in the face a few times too. Maybe they'll wake up. Maybe they won't. Who knows? Well, the number 3 car brand in the United States has suffered dramatic setbacks. 70% drop in sales. Who is it? Who do you think? Stellantis, Dodge, Chrysler, Ram, right? I mean, let's face the facts. They make junk and it's overpriced, and people aren't buying them. Now, it's taking hundreds of days to sell a single car. Normally, the cars are sold in just weeks, if not days, if they're popular cars, right? Well, guess why? They're overpriced and they're under quality. For example, Jeep Wagoneer start at $59,000 and they go over $120,000 for a Jeep Wagoneer. And they have problems breaking down. Both the Grand Cherokee and the Wagoneer. Do a little research. You'll see all the problems that these things are having. Take Stellantis as a whole. Their global profits were $19 billion in 2023. 2024, $5.78 billion. That is a massive drop. You got 3 stooge companies. Fiat, known for failure. Chrysler, known for failure. Peugeot, at least in the United States, known for failure. You put 3 stooges together, you don't get a positive. You know, I mean, negative times negative is a positive, right? But negative times negative times negative in the car business just makes 3 negatives. And now, gee, their CEO left, Carlos Tavares, so he's like, I'm out of here. Hey, they've been in trouble for so long, and now they're trying to. Well, look what they did at the Super Bowl. They put ads on for the Jeeps using Harrison Ford, right? Is that going to save them? Of course it's not going to save them. They think spending more money in advertising is going to save overpriced, poorly built vehicles. No, it isn't. They're spending money advertising. That even makes the price of the vehicles go even higher. They think Americans are so stupid that all they care about is what it looks like, not how it works. Well, in the short run, people can be fooled by, oh, that looked really nice, but then when they find out they fall apart, then they try to sell them and the resale value is down the toilet. Guess what? They're not going to buy another one. I'd have a single customer in the last 2 decades that bought a Volkswagen and bought another Volkswagen. They said, I'll never buy another one of these. And Chrysler, Stellantis, Fiat, they're in the same ballpark. They're making junk that's overpriced. And if people get burnt once, most people will wise up. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. They don't want to have shame on themselves, so they're not going to go buy another one. I have so many customers that said, those are the worst cars I ever bought. I'm never going to buy another one. Then they don't buy another one. They can advertise all they want in the world, but you got profits going from $19 billion to $5 billion. That's telling you, people are saying on your stuff. Tesla's going even further down. Tesla's English and European sales fell by almost half. A little bit less than 50% in January of this year. Now that tells you the glory times for Tesla are definitely ending. They have other choices. A lot of people are ditching the idea of electric cars. The whole idea of electric cars is starting to kind of fade away, and especially expensive electric cars. Hey, I mean, the Chinese, it's been proven they can make $10,000 electric cars. And yeah, they're not as fancy and stuff, but still, let's face the facts. Basically, cars are transportation to get you from here to there in a convenient fashion. Right? They've generally improved them over time. For example, when my father was young, if you went from Niagara Falls to Buffalo, which is a 20-mile trip, you would average 2 to 3 flat tires during the trip and back because tires are crap. The roads are crap, right? So generally, cars have gotten better over time. Well, when electric cars came up, they weren't a step forwards, they were a step backwards. You can't go as far. They cost too much money. You're inconvenienced by a long time to refill it with electricity, right? They weren't a technological step up. They were actually a social step down. They're not being accepted as if these politicians think people are going to go for this in droves. No, they aren't. They weren't an advantage. The car was a big advantage over the horse. Cars didn't crap on the ground and you clean it up. Cars could go further. They didn't cost that much either. They weren't all that expensive in the beginning once Ford mass produced them, okay? Electric cars aren't a step up, they're a step backwards, and now people are kind of starting to realize that they're not buying these things. And if the Europeans and the English that are pushing electric cars like nothing aren't buying them as fast as they were, and now 50% loss in sales over a year, that's telling you something's up with them. Well, that giant AI company, NVIDIA, well, their shares are up, and guess what they're up on? They surged to a record high, and a lot of it is based on automotive driving assistance. Of course, AI is a big moneymaker now, but the driver assistance systems are getting more sophisticated. They're using them more in automotives, and now a bunch of these companies are realizing, why reinvent the wheel? If NVIDIA's going to have good software, use their software. Pay them for it. Don't spend billions trying to design the wheel over again when somebody else is doing a good job building the wheel, especially when it comes to software. That makes an awful lot of sense, right? Why should you have 1,000 different companies writing software for the same thing, for things that let you be able to drive safer? And the systems are complex, and so is the software. Why on earth would all these companies have to do this software if somebody can figure it out? Just use that software, right? Tech for driver's assist now isn't that big of a deal for NVIDIA, but people are forecasting, hey, this is going to make them a lot of money, and their stock's up. NVIDIA's automotive and robotics section rose 109% last year. So they got 109% more revenue from it than they did the year before. That's one heck of a jump. Obvious that people often don't think. They're looking at their cell phones while they're driving, right? And driver assistant thinks, if they're set up correctly. Now, They don't work perfect today, anywhere near perfect. I was driving a Toyota with one, took my hand off the wheel. It was fine as long as there were painted lines on both sides, but as soon as it hit a curve and one side wasn't painted, it headed straight towards a tree, and I'd grab the steering wheel and turn it out of the way. So they still got a long way to go, but it would only make sense for somebody to figure it out and everybody else pay them to use the software rather than all these companies spend billions of dollars trying to do the same thing, trying to reinvent the wheel. Well, here we go with the government and vehicles, and of course they're trying to keep us hidden away from the truth. Well, the State Department is still planning $400 million armored Tesla contract, despite them denying that they were going to do it. The State Department is now preparing to award a $400 million contract to Tesla for armored electric vehicles, even though they denied it earlier this month. Now, if you know anything about history, there was a thing in New York called Tammany Hall, and this is a lot bigger than that. Now, the crazy thing is, the State Department initially planned on spending $483,000 on electric vehicles in 2025, when Biden was president. Now, that figure has ballooned to $400 million of electric vehicles that, of course, Tesla is going to be selling to them. As usual, the government's trying to hide everything that they're doing, the graft, the corruption. They tell you one thing, and then they do the opposite. It kind of reminds me what a businessman in Houston told me years ago. He said, politicians, they're just failed businessmen. And whatever the politicians say, just take the exact opposite of being true. So if they say, we're headed north, they're really headed south. It doesn't matter what they tell you on the front. They're kissing babies, they're eating apple pie and ice cream, right? But in the real world, they got backroom deals going on like no tomorrow that they're going to try to hide and make it totally opaque so you have no idea what's really going on. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.
Alright, let's see if I can fix this. Do another video. Alright, Urban Survivor. I don't think this is just him walking around. Here we go. This one, we'll do this one. And I'll close out that one. We'll do Jeremiah Babe. Is Warren Buffett buying gold? No more food stamps. Stop doom spending now. Middle class chaos.
It's Thursday, February 27, 2025. Let's just get right into the news today. I printed up a bunch of articles. Feel free to comment down below on any of this. But things are really, really moving quickly today. Dow Jones down about 200 points. NASDAQ was down 530 points. So we are beginning to see more market volatility. Trump says Mexico, Canada tariffs will start March 4th. Plus an additional 10% on China. So that'll put China at 20%, Mexico and Canada at 25%. So I think markets are getting a little spooked right now. I think that there's just so much uncertainty out there. The threat of more inflation coming, more unemployment coming, and big changes coming. So we're going to see this year, 2025, I think it is going to be the year of volatility. And I think that, you know, this president right now, this administration, I don't know if they are purposely going to cause a crash. Is the Fed going to cause a crash? Is something out of left field going to cause a crash? I don't know. But it almost seems like it's purposely going to be done, maybe by this administration, that they are going to crash everything and maybe rebuild from the rubble.
Ooh,
I don't know. Let me know your
paranoid.
thoughts on that. I really, really don't know. But one thing I do see is that we are going to witness a big crash. The warning signs are out there. USDA Secretary moves to withhold food stamps from illegal migrants. Brooke Rollins said Tuesday she has directed officials to carry out Trump's executive order barring illegal migrants from receiving taxpayer benefits, including food benefits. Comment down below. What do you think about this? Look, I have compassion for people, empathy, but can the average taxpayer now who is struggling paycheck to paycheck afford to take care of people from other countries? I don't think they can. 80% of this country is living paycheck to paycheck. I think 99.9% of the people watching this video today would say that the average person in this country, average taxpayer, is overtaxed. The average worker is overtaxed. And when people are struggling to this degree, do we really have the ability as a citizen to pay for other people? I don't think we do. Again, I have empathy and compassion for people, but the reality of it is the average American is struggling, and the average American now, many of them are food insecure, and many people skipping meals. So I don't think we have the ability today to just feed people from all over the world. And that may be harsh for some people to digest, but that's just the way it is. I think most people would agree that they need to take care of their own families, not somebody else's family. Pending home sales dropped to lowest level on record in January, down 4.6% from December to the lowest level since the National Association of Realtors began tracking this metric back in 2001. So we are beginning to see home prices ease up a bit, and we are seeing more sellers cut prices. In fact, if you're going to sell a house today, you better be prepared to cut your price. And I follow this market pretty closely, especially the southern part of the country. And I'm seeing price reduction after price reduction after price reduction. And I'm seeing more new listings come on with more realistic pricing. And I'm seeing a lot of homes that were once in escrow fall through back on the market. So we're in a period now where we are going to see, I think, home inventory explode. Qualified buyers are continuing to disappear. Too many people now are worried about losing a job tomorrow. A lot of people now don't qualify because of the amount of debt that they're carrying. Many people have lost a job, or a spouse has lost a job. So it really bars them from being able to qualify to buy a home right now. So you're going to see, in my opinion, big changes come to the housing market. The market that people said could never correct or collapse. It wasn't that long ago when we were told you better buy a car because you're just not going to be able to get a car. Car prices, were through the roof. They still are. But if you want to get a car today, drive to your local dealership, and they can't give these things away. So I think we're going to see that come to fruition in the housing market too. So we were, told by real estate agents daily that, you better buy a house. This is, this is your last chance. We don't have the inventory. You know what I'm seeing now? I was on social media today, and I was on Facebook, and I was noticing that a lot of the real estate agents that are usually on there haven't sold a home this year. They haven't sold a home since last year. And, if we go back nationally, 71% of the real estate agents in the U.S. did not sell one property last year. But I'm seeing a lot more agents on social media who have not even sold a house this year yet. And it's a whole different environment now, where agents were telling people to buy something, pay $50,000, $100,000 over asking price. Don't worry about not getting a home inspection. Don't worry about anything. Sight unseen, just buy it. You're never going to get another chance. And now so many buyers regret that decision. And so many of these real estate agents who really did not have your best interest at heart. They just want to make a quick dollar, go on social media, show us what they were eating and drinking. And now they can't sell anything. And I'm sure now a lot of their clientele over the last couple of years is probably asking them, why did you tell me to buy this house? And you can't blame the real estate agent. I understand that. That's up to you. But So many, in my opinion, real estate agents were very, very misleading, talking about the market was going to go up forever. You can refi when things come back down. Also, a fraudulent statement. You can't always do that. And now rates haven't come down, so you got to be really, really careful who you listen to. But it is interesting to see so many real estate agents now not out there showing us their last sale. Now it's price reduction, come to my open house, the seller motivated, we're looking at all offers. Completely different world now, and it's going to get brutal. So if you're a real estate agent, I hope you put your money away over the past few years, because you're going to need it, because you are going to go through a very, very big dry spell here that I think is going to last many, many years. Home builders have most speculative unsold inventory since May of 2008. This on the Hedge Today. Inventory of started and completed homes is soaring, but sales are weak. New home sales are new homes for sale right now that are either completed or under construction, 495,000. They built a lot of apartments around here and a lot of new homes. But if you watch my video from a few days ago, I was showing you a couple multi-family units out here, low-income housing, Section 8. And I asked all of you, who were these multi-family units built for? Who were they intended for? And I don't know if it was people from other countries. Was it just, lower income people in America? I don't really know. But it looks more and more like a lot of these multifamily units out here and across America. And when we were in Texas, we saw so many. It was incredible. But I'm beginning to believe that a lot of these multifamily units were built for migrants. And now what's going to happen when we're shipping all these migrants back home, when we're not allowing migrants to come in here now illegally? What is going to happen to all these multi-family units that they built, like the multiple 1,000 unit projects out here? What happens to them? Who's going to rent them? I really don't know. So you're going to have an abundance of multi-family units, new homes and existing homes all hitting the market now. So this is going to be a very, very interesting 2025 and 2026. And they still try to pump up this real estate market. And now the problem is, when people don't have jobs, they're not buying houses. When they're in fear that they may lose their job next week, they're not buying a house. We now have inflation heating back up too. Stagflation could be a big problem in this country. That's a real, real big concern. Here's another one from Redfin News. Florida has more homes for sale than ever before. 172,209 homes, properties for sale in Florida. Who is going to buy all of this real estate?
Not me.
I believe that this is going to be another reason why you're going to see prices drop, because you have less qualified buyers. You have more educated, sophisticated buyers now who are seeing the light, going, hey, let's just be patient, buy a little time, sit on the sidelines here, stack some cash and see how it all plays out, because inventory is rising. When you have inventory rising to this degree with existing homes, new homes, multifamily, prices can only do one thing, and they're going to go down. My humble opinion, let me know yours. Are home prices going to go up, or are they going to go down? I'm seeing them come down a little bit now, and we know how quickly they can come down. And another concerning thing is so many people have their wealth wrapped up in their home and in equity, and that equity can be wiped out overnight. And that means that a majority of U.S. wealth will be wiped out too, because it's all tied up in their homes. Weekly jobless claims jumped to 242,000, more than expected in the latest sign of economic softening. Didn't we talk about this at the end of last year, that once this new administration takes office, you're going to begin to see the more realistic jobless claims, the more realistic data, the more realistic numbers? Now we're beginning to see it, right? 242,000. That's a pretty decent number. That number is going to continue to rise. I talked about it yesterday. If you didn't see yesterday's video, check it out. Do whatever you need to do to not lose your job. Having a job right now with what we're heading into is of the utmost importance. You may hate your job. You may not like it. It may not be your passion. But if it's paying the bills right now, this is not a time to switch jobs. This is the time to just hunker down, wait a while, maybe a year or two to see, where the dust settles. But if you have a decent paying job that's paying the bills right now, I would stay put and wait this thing out. Housing. The foundations of the middle class are crumbling. This on the Hedge today. It breaks down, and I won't go over all this, just a couple highlights here, breaking down the change that we're seeing in the middle class. The mortgage cost of ownership are no longer predictable or affordable. Property taxes, for instance, soaring. Property repairs and maintenance skyrocketing. You want to replace a roof? It's going to cost a lot of money. If you want to have a plumber come out, what's that? $100 an hour, $125 an hour. Material, labor, everything is going up. So the cost to now own a home is not just the price of the home, but the price to maintain the home. Mortgage costs right now much higher than they were a couple years ago. People also trapped in those 3% mortgages, those 2.65% mortgages. They can't move unless they're forced to. But this is all playing into a crumbling middle class. Equity isn't always permanent, ladies and gentlemen. Bubbles burst, and when they do, the equity dissipates too. And a lot of people in the middle class are relying on that equity in their homes. And a lot of people, they're paper rich. They look at their 401ks. They look at their equity. They might be looking at some cryptos, and they're paper rich. And you're seeing what's happening in the crypto market now too. So, if you get a chance, check this article out. The foundations of the middle class are crumbling. And this is another, reason why, another example why it's crumbling. 80% of this country working paycheck to paycheck. Savings rate, one of the lowest we've ever seen. People just cannot save money. They cannot get ahead. Credit cards, 23, 25, 30% interest. People just cannot get ahead. Inflation at the grocery store, inflation with services, it goes on and on and on. Here's one from Bloomberg. From egg prices to housing, U.S. inflation is heating up again. I don't think it ever really cooled down. Comment down below. Has inflation even cooled down over the last couple of years? I don't think it has. I just continue to see it go up. No matter what metric you're looking at, U.S. inflation is moving in the wrong direction. How could it not? Look at all the spending this last administration did all the way to the last day. This last Sleepy Joe was spending money by the billions all the way to the last day, and basically set up a lot of booby traps for this new administration. We spoke about that at the end of last year too, what the new administration would have to be, what they would be dealing with, that they were basically going to be walking over landmines and booby traps in 2025. And now with Doge exposing and exploiting the theft of your tax dollars, people should be absolutely irate. I'm watching the news today, and it is just absolutely absurd where a lot of this money went. Hundreds of millions here, 10, 20 million there, 50 million there, 800,000 there, 100,000 there, 250,000 there. This stuff is adding up to big, big dollars. But again, anybody that just doesn't want accountability for their money, I don't know what's wrong with them. If you're putting your party above your tax dollars, there's something wrong with you. I don't care if you're right, left, anywhere in the middle. Don't you want accountability when you could be Republican, Democrat, whatever, at home? Right. I mean, don't you add up the numbers that you're not spending more than you're taking in, making sure that you're not going bankrupt, that there's accountability in the household with spending? Aren't you always looking for a sale? How could somebody not want to know where their money's going? How would somebody not want to have some type of punishment for what these criminals did with your money? Because if there is no punishment, if there is no accountability, it is going to continue to go on and on and on. This is why, another reason why we are completely broke, $36+ trillion in debt. We're running, $2 trillion deficit. Why nobody respects us. Why most of this country is broke. Why most of this country doesn't have savings or a net worth. Why most of this country cannot afford a house or a car or put money away or pay for health insurance. Because these politicians squandered your money. They ripped you off. They robbed you. And yet some people will still put their political party above the morality of what is right, what is wrong, and accountability. I don't care what side you're on. If you steal my money, we have a problem. And if there's Republicans or Democrats or independents or whoever involved in this, I want accountability, and I want these people punished. I want people put in prison if they are part of this robbery. I don't care what side you're on. Like, my party isn't more important than the morality of what's right and wrong and crimes that are being committed. I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous. So, if a Republican robs a bank, it's okay, you let them go. If a Democrat robs a bank, it's okay, you let them go. No, a bank robbery is a bank robbery. And both people, no matter what party, should be punished the same way. And if they're not, this is going to continue to go on forever. Here's another one. CNBC, 1 in 5 Americans are doom spending. Here's how that can backfire. Well, I wonder how. This is how Americans now cope with stress. And if you do this, if this is how you cope, you're going to pay a very, very severe price here. And your financial well-being is at stake. So these people who are doom spending, driven by fear and anxiety about the future, it says. So I like when people write me and go, you talk about gold and silver. Nobody can afford this now. Yet 1 in 5 people are doom spending. They got 5 packages at their front door right now from Amazon. They're going to baseball games. They're going to football games. They're going on cruises. They're going to Vegas. They're taking vacations. Yet they don't have any gold. They don't have any silver. These are the same people who will comment and say, oh, I can't believe you're trying to get people to buy gold and silver. I'm not trying to get people to do anything, by the way. I'm just sharing with you what I'm doing. But yet it's the same people going on the vacations, the cruises, showing us the $25 cocktails on social media, driving a car that costs $1,000 a month. These are the people that don't have the gold or the silver, the assets, because they live for today. They want the instant satisfaction, the instant gratification. They want to look rich, and they don't mind going poor or broke, trying to look rich to impress people they don't know. Again, if you want to have wealth, you want to protect the wealth that you have to make sacrifices. Maybe you don't take that trip, and maybe you don't go to Hawaii, you don't go to Vegas. Maybe you take the money and you buy a little bit of gold, a little bit of silver, you put it away, you don't think about it. You have physical assets, so if something goes wrong, you have something. Most people don't want to make the sacrifice. They don't want to feel the pain, just like these people. They don't want to feel the pain, but they're going to now because of the financial
money in years.
The financial irresponsibility that they're taking now. They're going to feel the pain at some point. They're not going to escape this. So buying stuff is not going to fix the problem, ladies and gentlemen. This is the time to hunker down, work harder, and have a pile of cash put away, have a pile of precious metals put away. Do what you can do. Have some food and water put away. But just going out and spending money on garbage, on junk you don't need, not a good plan. Another article today coming from the Hal Turner radio show. $255 million in crypto liquidated in past 60 minutes. This happened yesterday between 2 and 3 p.m. Eastern time. And is there a whale or a couple whales getting out today? Cryptos were struggling yet again. You've got Bitcoin hovering between 83 and 84,000 today. So we're seeing, and what was it, the past week or two, $800 billion was wiped out of cryptos in, I think, the last couple weeks. So very, very extreme volatility. It is proving not to be a safe haven asset. It is proving not to be a currency. It is proving to be a big, fat gamble. And I don't want to offend anybody out there. You can gamble on whatever you want. You can go to Vegas tonight, gamble. You can buy cryptos and gamble. You can do whatever you want to do. but it's a gamble. And people aren't buying this as a safe haven asset. They're not buying it to retire 10, 20 years down the road. They're buying this stuff because it's a gamble, and they're hoping that next week their Bitcoin goes up $5,000, $10,000. They're hoping that it goes to $250,000 this year. And look, I can respect that. It's just pure gambling. But let's just all admit what it is. It is not a safe haven asset. It is not a currency. It is also something that is completely worthless if the grid goes down. If there's no power, your computer doesn't work. It is completely worthless and useless. That's why I think you're much better off holding cash, gold, and silver, because if you don't hold it, you don't own it. My opinion only. And look, I'm not angry at anybody buying cryptos. If you can afford to gamble and lose the money, then gamble it. That's fine. There's been money obviously made. There'll probably be more money to be made, but it is gambling. But make sure you can afford to lose this money. So if you want to buy $10,000 in crypto today, if you can afford to lose $10,000 today and it's not going to change your life, then go for it. You might do okay. I'm going to finish with this last article, a very interesting one coming from LinkedIn.com. If you get a minute, check it out, Google it. It's titled, Warren Buffett might be secretly the world's biggest bull of gold and silver. Now, we've heard a million times that Warren Buffett didn't and doesn't like gold because it doesn't pay a dividend. Well, it wasn't Warren Buffett that said that. It did come from somebody from Berkshire Hathaway, but it wasn't Warren Buffett. It was Charles Munger. Charles Munger didn't like the precious metals. But Warren Buffett never said that. And the interesting thing in this article talks about Warren Buffett's dad. His dad was a fan of gold. Buffett's dad's name was Howard Buffett. He was a victim of failing banks right at the start of the Great Depression. The bank that he dealt with closed its doors and locked him out. He could not get his money out of the bank. And this stuck with him for the rest of his life. Later, he became a stockbroker. He opened up a company called Buffett Co. Later, became a congressman. He was a congressman for many, many years. And he always wanted America to return back to a gold standard. And he said this, human freedom rests on gold, redeemable money. And Warren Buffett never forgot his dad. And I don't think Warren Buffett ever forgot gold. So with everything that's happening right now, the gold rush to America, the infusion of gold coming into America, could Warren Buffett secretly be the biggest bull of gold and silver? Could he be purchasing it right now? We don't know. Don't know. Is he a fan of gold and silver? Probably. His dad was. And I think he was a big fan of his dad. And I think that Warren Buffett understands the Great Depression, understands and understood what happened to his dad, and understands money. And I think he understands what's happening to the dollar right now, too. So let me know your thoughts on any of this. But we are definitely living in remarkable, chaotic times, aren't we? A time that I think we're never going to forget, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. It, in my opinion, is going to get more chaotic as the year goes on. I have no idea what we're going to be looking at June, July, and August, but I think it's going to be a lot worse than it is right now. So be careful out there. God bless every one of you. Thanks for tuning in. If you would, please like, share, and subscribe. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Hit the bell notification down below. Share these videos everywhere. God bless. Have a wonderful day. Be safe out there. Talk to all of you soon.
Well, I don't get afraid or paranoid over shit, but he does have some good key points in there, I think. You know, the stuff with the market. When you have too many houses and nobody's buying them, that's not good. Of course, there's also used houses. Your starter homes are usually either going to be the houses that you buy with your first-time home buyer credit or a used home. Most people will get a used home because it's just cheaper, even though it takes money to fix it up, and it's usually got serious issues. I almost got a used home, which is really damn old, and it would have cost me a lot to keep it going, but it would only have been $600 a month, which is like less than half the rent I was paying just a while ago. So, oh, there's one. Oh, what's this? No. Okay. Alright, so I'm done with the eggs. Didn't get the mutation I wanted. So I'll just leave everything the way it is there. Let me see if we got another good video. If not, then I'll just call it. Okay, that's that one.
So Amrath.
Okay. Okay, now Asmongold's going over LGBTQ. Nah, I think I'll call it. I think I'll go ahead and call it while I can. Because he has a 40-minute video. I want to have it here over an hour. The only thing I have left to do is go out and get some obsidian. I can get some obsidian, but I don't feel like doing it right now. I think I'm going to relax. It's pretty late. And I'll just chill out. All right. Well, thanks for watching. I'll put the 2 videos I watched in the description. And I appreciate you showing up. Take care.